express show inda kutangirira omugenzi wanje ebasa kunyegita waga majingo kurebuka ngo tobasa kuba ntukwatagana kandi ntukusyaho amakuru against yo nagabasa kubaho dakika 10 zonka zabasa kubana zirenga omushamushanju ihangwe omuhereza nkabutosha Sky Express show ndi EZD omushikatwa karangi gambirine wenyini omwana wakamo mbwen nkakugira nti hakobarya nabari omunyabwenje abo kugira ngo nawe nanayenda kumanya kandi okumanya niyo ntandikiro y'obwenje mbwen enkayana zigurikireho zabarukaho muri Indo-Pacific ko mu hansoko China na India nibenda kwegombitsya America yabitahamu ati China wahebya mwenezo na zentaro nazo ziriyo konzenda bari abanywani India na China kanyenda kwishenze India na China nabo niberejera mu kagogwa BRICS mwene hati bayombe kwego mu mico umbitsya bakarebe chikwata honenji Ukraine nayo egarize mu Russia Putin nagamba kimwe na bibiri yayo wananga twara ka Kivu Putin yaga rumba ka Kivu kama kwa rumba Karakivu then Ukraine yanyiga yateraga to mu Russia Putin yagambe bigambo yajihayira yajatishanimwa mutakutumanya hatumuntu betu basasire konga kumwenda kore je mwenda kwatamu inza kugambira abwenki ejo nacho kirya mu Venezuela Nicolas Maduro ya rabye handiko cyo kwata opposition leaders bona wakaruruka yo kabankirira kuterwa ko mukwa mushanju yajango kira opposition member mbaze mu nkwateri yabatahemishango ya corruption na no kuhagira sanctions za America na nebindi kandi yo omukago gw'amahanga ko kwigitira mu Buraya European Union nayo yahinguze kitenso cyo kugira ngo tunde ningashi eguze Russian deposits zari frozen mwena hati bajango baziguze na sente zabo bakwataho euro billion za euros ishatu then babasa supporting Ukraine Russia yacho bwanga mugeza mugizwateho kumwene mango nezanyu Russia ebyone bikora yanyiga hati yenda kutondaho ningashenda kuhangahangaho amahe abiri agandi amahe abiri agina units na brigades na tactics na formation zenkambo mnonga ebintu yajana nibakara Russia jana yongera man economy niyo kuzire hata yini yafuna kasente kamani aho kuba hati mutyo cyashesheje rijoba bakubara Russia bashanganiyo the largest wheat exporter in the whole world yakwasa kushohoza engano wheat ni engano Russia niyechezeyo mu exporting wheat Russia na yongero mbikurwanisa na yongero mu kasente na yongero mbibushobozi na yongero mu kwatana sana mahanga gandi Russia yaba Russia ebyona Sky Express show erijoba na EZD umushikatwa karahanga igambirini Express show abonshonga zakire dakika 15 nimane sambyaho kugira nti ngabasa kwata bakasimu tuganira ni wa muheraho tubasa kureba ihanga kutwara mwen China kurugwa mwaka gwa 2022 etura nenda kuija kwamba ekiweka cyo kweta Arunco Pradesh ekindi cyangwa internationally mugenzi yona ekiweka kikaza hansi ya India kandi kitura hansi ya India kuruga kare kitura kiri part of India abahindi konka China kurugwa mwaka gwa 2022 yenda kukirwanira nenda kukitwara mweniyo Indo-Pacific na yetu reine bijubi yayo nibera bya hamutwe bakwatagana mbindi konka hiza omucha territory ankakujana hati geopolitics nzezo ryo mu nsomo buri hangati ndiyenda ku expand buri hanga ndiyenda kureba ikare baro interest kagitwara mwen geopolitics nizo kutegana sense yo kureba one country want to annex another state from the state or from the country kandi which international law ekukondemminga konkaba bokwetwara nk'abamani nabo kuriya nkabutosha ko kugira ngo wamani atine mani tarya ni nkebyo wawe ine waka niwo kubasa kwika mugati otine waka nkafama tokubasa mwen India erigireyo yagireti China turi abanywani atukonkanye ndakugambira kugira ngo India etekatekire kandi eine obumaririvu kugira ngo ne protectinga ihanga ryayo nibyo kwicererezamo mwene protectinga abantu bayo na nebicweka byayo tini ihanga ryo no munsi yona erigize kugira ngo nirya kuteganisa India ito India to ready kandi China ko rutandikira ne ito nihito kururebera America kurabira umukagwa gubatiro gwa quad grouping ngagutandikirwa ho yabari prime minister wa Japan yafire bakweta Shinzo Abe akatandika ho mukagogo gwamahanga aga ana gona mahanga ago agabegine obani nkeko ogwabegine hakantuntu na China mwene yakwata America yajet ngo watakukiza na China yakwata Australia watakukiza na China yakwata India then na Japan njawaga mayaga mahanga mwene India United States Australia na Japan aga mahanga ngegito mu quadrilateral grouping yabo kutensa ahanshonga ezitaramu ibyamahe ezitaramu ebyofuzi kuyaho obutikirizana na nihanga erya China hako bakajimanya kari sinzia bakaja ati Japan kutateganisa China mbyakuza kuzo mu maraka ata America ni mu mutayibara Australia mutayibara kandi mu India kugira ngo nombodaringa na China mutayibara ishayo na China ne kuriya murukwe mwene bakora umukago mahangana kugira ngo babateseho ibirozo ninga shibe tekateko babase kunamisa China hera reto hona ubwo mukago bashitamere America yajet China eti itwenka America ntopozinga echawe echo kurumba aronako Paradesh echwekecho nituchumayango necha India kandi chaguma cha India utatandika ortaro nguru wa Russia yatandikire aboka chuka kache hati yo China umuchweke cha aronako Paradesh echi yo tekwenda muchweke chona yo nenda harimo chweke cyo kweta Tawang ne chweke chikushangwa mu kwanuko mu aranuko Pradesh hata Tawang hakaba hariyo Tawang ne chweka ekikwikirizibwa kugira ngo hakazarwamu Dairama oyabariyo wa mukaga mwenda Dairama nechitinisa ekwo kweta kugira ngo ninka the utmost Buddhist master mwono mahanga wona kukizo mu bya Buddha ninga dini ya Buddha okukizo mu nyikiriza ya Buddha no wakuba nakirayo kana baine echitinisa cha His Holiness one of addressing His Holiness Dairama mwenda Dairama chonje guma kugira ngo nechitinisa cyo kugira ngo master mukuru akuherukayo ngo kwakoreba nka papa kwakoreba nka ba bishop kwakoreba bityo mwenda baba Buddha mamwezi zira ya Dairama mwena Dairama wa mukaga akazarwa omucyeke cha Tawang Dairama wa mukaga bakamba mweta Sangyanga tuso akazarwa ekibanza cyo kwa kashatu omwaka gwa 16 kinana neshatu hatogu gatuso kandi we akaine origin y'aba China konka yiza yazarwa omutawangaha omucyeke cha Arunako Pradesh echa India konka regardless okuba nojarwa aho kuba nozarwa hona wamara kurra omuchweka ninga wamara kutoranwa kugira ngo gunwa tori no mutoranwa akuza kurre kino no yebembera mahanga gona konka yiwazarwa obozarwa nkai ninga president obozarwa kiruhura nategeka ihanga lyona hatiwe tino koragire ngo kuba president for example katugire ngo president ninko muhima hata bahima batakutura omuri ruhura konka bahima bakaragayo bakajangwa nutwende kiruhura aho jango president no muhima mutayi witu kandi hiya azari wo muri ruhura mwe ntwende rwakitura mwakireba context neji hati arinuko Pradesh erinka kiruhura yona then omwanya gwa China gwo kurwanira Tawang nago ninka rwakitura hati rwakitura eriyo muri kiruhura hati yo China ninde yitwara rwakitura kandi tokawasa kutora rwakitura eriyo muri kiruhura mwanchenga ekimwe sango none ndakuyija kugira ngo watwara rwakitura expanding otwara kimwe na kiruhura yono jehezo aho kugira ngo Dairaman hiyawe nazarwa hata ukakavuye hika kurga kurgoma kagwe 12 China nende kutwara go mwanya mwena kavuyo kakura kavuyo kakura mu Indo Pacific mwene bagira muntu akujja kwetwarana abo nshongezo America jang pana China otahabya China tazo muntu rozitaka nka Russia kutangaza kuhamba nyina kwisa kugira ngo omu power ranking amanya mahanga gachirimani India ne kuratira China wachenga China ni yakashatu mu kukiza yamano munsi yona mu bintu byo kurwana India ne yakana hat India tekutina China ne jango hakuretera na mwenyo India ehigwiriza tanka zona yatwara abasirikare bona bagenda kuma mwanya Catherine shongezo kuzagende agango makuru.
Washington strongly opposes any unilateral attempts to advance territorial claims in the northeastern Indian state. India has further enhanced its military readiness through the Sela tunnel in Arunachal Pradesh.
The United States recognizes Arunachal Pradesh as Indian territory, and we strongly oppose any unilateral attempts to advance territorial claims by incursions or encroachments, military or civilian, across the line of actual control.
With China's growing belligerence, the border with India has become a battleground for testing will and resilience. Analysis say China's completely unfounded claims, initially extended only to Tawang, a part of Arunachal Pradesh where the 6th Dalai Lama was said to have been born. Since the 2000s, however, China has been claiming Arunachal Pradesh in its entirety. Pertinent to remember, of course, is independent India has been exercising sovereignty over it. Arunachal Pradesh became a union territory in 1972 and a state in 1987. Arunachal Pradesh is also located at the confluence of the international borders of China, Myanmar and Bhutan, giving it strategic importance. This extension of territorial claim indicates a concerted strategy consistent with China's stance on the East and South China Sea disputes. Amid rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific, the US has upped its engagement in the Quad grouping. The Quad, officially the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, is a group of 4 countries, namely the United States, India, Australia and Japan. The grouping was a concept developed by late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe as he sought unity among 4 democracies that have seen friction with China. It is a loose grouping rather than a formal alliance. China has condemned the grouping as a move to encircle it.
Sky Express Show nyina kutangiriye umugenzi wanje ayo natureba naturina Ronald niyo nkora mu Dubai mu UAE team war Dubai war Abu Dhabi war Sharjah aho kuba ruhona ko mu UAE mwena wo kutereba social media Facebook na YouTube ni mwe bari ya screener abamba turebera TV yanyu gagadde nenda kwebaza kushugobera inshongezi mwen hati Ukraine mbena bagamenye mwazyo oku Ukraine advancing njire ikakakatera abasirikare ba Russia kugira ngo eba driving out omuchweka cyawe cya Kharkiv eriyo matemba ga Ukraine northeastern ya Ukraine mwen hati abasirikare ba Russia bagache barumbisa force ya man batera industrial region on Kharkiv bombing ayona ya komurro yaski ahwerecherra hati Ukraine yartariyetinga okurtariyetinga omurunyankore noku nkomuntu yakore kintu okagarra mwenu obani nko korenzigu kanchi bete nga revenge konka retaliation nere mu murro nere muki mwini yartariyetinga kugarrayo mu bukambwe munonga yartariyetinga yagenda yatera ebizimbi bingi omuri Belgrade Belgrade yokurebege iri mu Russia n'ekiweka kya Russia hati Ukraine etire missiles on Belgrade yabasa kuba ne damaginga two kindergarten schools na byembe kabe byetorire konka kiyambere kindergarten ejo abatar mu abana bakaba bagira mu cyumuro boye bahumuyira bo waba mu Russia mwene kindergarten zone bazitira hansi konka takora mu tabandi bafuno babiri bafuno buhuta abantu 16 barugenda kandi aha mu industrial area kuno Ukraine Russia wewe betire batano barugenzere munana babasa kufana injare mbwen Jake Sullivan ogunwe kagambirizi wa national security ninganwe advisor mu homages wa national security ya State House ya America azati itwe tutkwenda kwerangira ngo nenshi atkonka hinda tactics zo torakore part A yo kwera Ukraine no mukesente congress kiregere mise ito twine part B atkanda ampe utingasa kwagamba plan B atito plan B turakore nito tukujumanya ngo makuru.
Hit an industrial area in Ukraine's northern city of Kharkiv, killing at least 5 people and injuring 8. According to local authorities, the strike caused a major fire in a printing house. Rescuers worked at the site, carried out the search operation to look for survivors, while also fight the flames.
Ukraine's Kharkiv region, which borders Russia to the north and lies close to the front line, has suffered regular attacks. And that is during Russia's 2-year-old invasion.
Despite regular attacks carried out by Russia, Ukraine is striking back at Moscow. Kiev, which is in desperate need of aid from its allies, carried out an attack on the Russian city of Belgorod. According to authorities, in the Ukrainian strike, 1 person was killed while 2 more were wounded. Due to the Ukrainian shelling, 16 cars and several buildings were damaged in the city. Additionally, a school and 2 kindergartens were hit, but there were no children there as the region had announced early holidays starting the 20th of March. It was a close save.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, during a trip to Kiev, said that a major U.S. aid package will get to Ukraine, as he vows that Washington's support will continue in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war.
I'm confident that we will achieve Plan A. We will get a strong bipartisan vote in the House for an assistance package for Ukraine, and we will get that money out the door as we should. So I don't think we need to speak today about Plan B.
Express show webale mnonga alina tureba King Brian niyo nakora musya munyibanda ndebera banyibanda bona ubare kubori yaskwinga gade niyo noreba King Brian mwen Putin agenzire yagira ati atatu nyumureke mbagambire hati nishwazana kureba ngo Ukraine ihangire yakubere riyabere kurungi hatartandikire embera obutuju terrorists mu runyankore abantu bana rukarara no Ruganda. Anyway, nikitangaza kurango Ukraine ihangire yabere yatwaze na ha kirumira moyo nikirumira moyo Eric nko yampabura mwen nikitangaza kura Ukraine mukaba muri kurungi Ukraine mukaba muri ensi yitwaze konka kugendera ahabragiro bya Western Force ariko implyinga to America muhindukire mu bana rukarara ni impano mujyano mutera abandi konkati ni muhindukiye bakirumira moyo bakirumira moyo. Anyway, muhindukiye ba terrorists mwenu hat for example ogenzire watera civilian buildings ngoro taroro kuyana rutandaka urwanje na nimwe Ukraine murahurire ngo Putin ningashi Russia yatera ene civilian building ninte bakutera inguma yango tuba civilians tubarum konka Putin abihire aho ko babe comprehend yati abantu bafire anyway so embereza agenda zityo yaje tatu mwenu nyuma ya kemba gambere if I can retaliate in the same way ogwen Putin nanyi nani mbasa kujanda hati shaizi Ukraine njitera mu ngeri nemwe eyetira mu Russia mu Belgrade ngijamu ndire wa civilians makasagara ho Ukraine etinyina mu ndero mu misho mu kingaru cye muri mangu muyono mu mpurra kandi mwakunde baba yata kumpura shaizi mwakundeba kina kubasankanye nka Russia kujango shaizi ndere civilian buildings mu Ukraine makasagaraho shaizi nde kurenka mija yeremwe ninga nde kurenka nuclear weapon yemwe ebatere nde kumara sigareho ngo Ukraine tuwe mu rutaro nturwana rwitu kugeza turamana gitu nyundu kwende byanje ni mu kwenda kubinsha horaho konga kuma matandika obuzano zano bwa terrorists ati nyowe Russia tinzana zana no butuju ataba tujabona kantu kacarinye if you become a terrorist ni handling as a terrorist ati mwene Ukraine namageze ga America kumwageze gutanga kutera civilian buildings kubombinga civilian Ukraine za missiles zanyu ati munyerinde hati nyenda kubisyaho akireka cye akenyuma akabeka roho aba Russia hakaba abantu ba Russia bo bakashara diru baza mu Ukraine mu mahega Ukraine batanaka kurwanisa Russia bo wancenga kuba yele abana Uganda bakashara diru bakaza Kenya bakazwala uniform ya Kenya bakataka kurwanisa Uganda hati ahuja ngo kabari ya Russia bakamba manyema handa nemukutu ne kwasa kurabaho intelligence ya Russia yababasa kubabona kurunji satellite bako bareba bamba ko satellite zo mu mwanya babareba bakugezaho kushara kuzo mu Russia hati bashara ensharo batemba orsika bagwayo Russia kia Putin kia barebere yajatu munde terrorist iba kuzarwa no hako bazara no bazarwa na bahi kandi cyaro ni kiye bakorgamo hati nyum bimpereze ninza ko panishinga kunkwenda natukana wana babundi ni ndebo mu binaze bakasindika bombs zabatera bona bafa hati mwene kineni basa kwito mu Russia andire murukwe akwenda kutuntuza wa Russia batayibe hati kastima Ukraine wintine mu kazari ogunwe Putin.
Of course, we can respond the same way against civilian infrastructure and against all other objects of this kind that the enemy attacks. But we have our own views on this matter and our own plans. We'll go ahead with what we've planned.
Although Putin says Russian troops may retaliate with strikes against Ukraine's civilian infrastructure, such strikes have been reported almost every day since the invasion of Ukraine began. A few days ago, the Russian Defense Ministry released a video showing Russian volunteer units fighting on the side of Ukraine who tried to penetrate Russian territory. Putin called them traitors and urged Russian intelligence services to eliminate them.
I ask you not to forget who they are, to identify them by name. We will punish them without a statute of limitations wherever they are.
Sky Express Show nyenda kutangira iyo mugenzi wanje yabasa kubananye kandi kwabasa guma ria screen ya wao pora munonga mwena ningambazi na ningamba ambereze ninza kugaruka mu message yawo nagireho munyakazo wambuza Israel na India neha ekukizayo ebyokurwanisa omunyakazo gubamba mweta mbamba mweta ogunaja yesa ninye Jordan batenga from behendwa kazo omunyabehendwa kazo niza ko kama muheru message zanyu meme sindike anambezi kuraba hansaho muzirebe za WhatsApp ne ya MTN mbasa kusindika ebibuzo byanyu ninza ko bigaruka mu muheru wa mwenu wotafuna kagacha ko kwasa kutera isimu mwenu omugashesha mahanga ko kugitira omukago gwa Buraya esikweta European Union gashtama gaya ngupana ngo bishika twafurizinjire katwabase kukwata esente na nibyo bugiga orimo rurunje n'ibyo bugiga katwakwase ibyo bugiga bya Russia ebiri mu sente nkarunana ebindi katubyino muri Bungereza katubyino muri Buraya atabwenki tutakubasa convertinga sente ezo tukakwataho sente tukasupportinga Ukraine atabo kuba ya de sente neza Russia konka tubasa kukwataho billion 3 za euros tukwataho 90% ya billion 3 tugure byo kurwanisa tubisindike umuri Ukraine tukwata 10% yese neza sagara tusindike supporting defense na moral ya Ukraine atabo kuba Russia niye bakiza hakubari mwena hati Russia keniye bakiza nshongezi ahabwenki takwata deposit zayo tukabasa kuzitekeshayo nyinda kwise kugira ngo orutaro rwa Ukraine kuri batandikiraho omukwa kabiri 2022 kuri watandikiraho rwabarukaho rwa Russia na Ukraine America yarangira kugira ngo yateka henati abyo bugiga bya Russia ebyine yo wabo akuba ekayine close to 300 billion dollars zabeziriyo kandi ekabeine na gold reserves ezikubarwa mu billions rukaga 12 za dola Russia ko beriye ngiga omunse zindi eze kubiko mahangandi na no kuinvesting mu mahanga gandi mwene United States of America ya freezing na Buraya naho Buraya Russia eka-investing reyo mwene kwa mazire kugira ngo Buraya na America za kwegita ba freezing deposits zayo na sente zayo na reserves na infrastructure hata bajankare kama mwa freezing aburi mu Russia bank accounts za Russia zaba Russia bona babantu mahanga go baz freezinga sente baz freezinga business baz tahenati mwene Russia jankare imwe euro assets omaga Buraya ezikubarwa mu euros billions bibiri mushanju na inazi kwata omo Russia commercial bank yaz freezing na zayo omo euros omusente za euros billions bibiri mushanju za Buraya zona z'amahanga Buraya ziginayo yaz freezing sente zikwingana nkagana mushanju billion dollars zabeziri mu dollars yaz holdinga yakwata 37 billion dollars zabeziri mu pounds pound assets mu Russia yaz freezing yakwata za Japanese yen 36 billion yaz freezing yakwata za Canadian dollars 19 billion yaz freezing yakwata za Australian dollars mukaga billion yaz freezing yakwata Singapore yabayineyo 1.8 billion Singapore dollars yaz freezing ejeno Russia kandi kayabarabura yajangu na freezing zanyu abo kugira ngo nimo mwenda ku freezing zanje konke zanyu tiza kuzikwataho no tantiri kumurutebekana mwenu mwamara kuterera korwo mu kwewunzika akwate nimbara mu icurukire kumurumara kuterera ninza kure zanyu kandi nyenda kubarabura arkwata habyo bugiga bya Russia beat America beat mu Buraya nimwakwija kundeba Putin tumukumanya kukundagamo nimwakwija kareba mwene byo nabishiryawe mbatensa hati kugira ngo bakwate billions shasho sente zo ziri mu Buraya babase gusincha Ukraine Putin yajete atize warumkorana musindikire nyoni nyenko mayikingu planninga agango makuru.
End to the war in sight and the structure of the Russian economy not collapsing in one blow. The question is, how can the West, especially in Brussels, exploit these assets? Now, EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, he says that it plans to use at least 90% of these revenues from Russian assets frozen in Europe. He adds that these will then be used to buy arms for Ukraine via the European Peace Facility Fund. And the remaining 10% would be put into the EU budget to help bolster Ukraine's defense industry.
I hope that we can reach an agreement soon and change banknotes into weapons, because your soldiers don't fight with banknotes. They need physical arms. They need physical instruments in order to defend your people.
Now, under the current norms, the EU budget cannot be used to buy arms. The European Central Bank has warned that seizing Russian assets could undermine confidence in the euro and the European Union markets. Some governments have also voiced concerns that Moscow could retaliate by seizing assets of Western companies held in Russia. But Ukrainian Prime Minister suggests that no assets would be taken, but only the windfall profits they make.
We insist on the full confiscation of other use of all frozen assets. I mean body of frozen Russian assets. Europe and the world need an effective precedent for making the aggressor pay a heavy price for the destruction it has caused in Ukraine.
Meanwhile, the West remains wary of crossing red lines drawn by global financial institutions.
Express show nenda kutangira yo mugenzi wanje yawasa kubona tugita agamagingo kwa kuba wawocherirwe ukabasa kutwegitaho agamagingo mwani Russia nayo yaragaye no mu bukambo bwayo enyigire yagireti nkirebuka abantu mwaza kunzaniraho hatu Russia yagira ngo amahega yegwe beine hatinda kuretingaho amahabira gandi yari kurotinga yakwata amasinaries nabaza kwateko mu government kuretinga ha amahe ebinja bibiri mungu wanoranka UPDF then ukagaruka kahura na UPDF namahe then ukagita wonka aba SFC Special Forces Command ejo na yerho then ukagita hona na nkama hagandi nka mu Uganda tuyina mahago kare konka nkoko kureba nka UPDF erine yihanga hatanaga na mahega Russia then hatu ena kuretinga ho nka SFC na nendije izina njire barajete brihe riyine mission yaryo riyine bukugubwaryo riyine training ekumara akuba training age nibenda kosa formations 30 formations zo kurwana rutaru 30 formations omu 30 formations nkana ku government yo Russia eturane yega kuruga umurutaro wayo na Ukraine kebe nero bukuriye jango babukuriye no bwa Britain no bwongereza nikuba kurumba bati ni information yabo ni yetire mu Ukraine okay bahandika ko bakakopa kwe mbara bati agent training yo kurumba America yo kurumba bati counteringa bati bakagira bati okay enyo za Russia ko mbazitera bamanya ngo ebyant air defense system hati ekikumanyisa ngo eza American kozi kutera ziti bahandika mwentukore formation ya kwasa kwa avoidinga anti-air defense system zawezi bahandika obukodyo mweni 30 formations ezibaragire kame mahaga niwenda creatinga mu 30 units 13 kandi bakakora mu divisions 14 bakatamu na brigades 16 omuhago kwenda koraga ebyona nibikorwa habwa Russia yokwe protectinga yokwenda ngo echize orwanju rwa NATO nomanya Sweden yerje kutaho mu NATO kandi hati America ejenzire America yayigitana NATO bagenda bazo mu Romania bakora yo base mpango exactly 2.7 billion bakora mu base yo kurwana mwene buri hanga ryona rehihi na Russia buri hanga ryona erikuirahi na Russia erikwata na Russia ningerehi konkar kwegitira omukibina cya NATO hatu ya America negende tekayo NATO base wanchenga kugira ngo kuba benda kutera mu dashika benda kugwa kutera Russia be bari hihi mwene za missiles zabo kugira ngo zasinzire mu Russia bamere tarbo muri America kuza kutera Russia be bari hihi aho kandi baza kore kintu echo intelligence cyandiko cya Germany esiya expose injiri Russia ko bene barotaro nako kwenda kuhiza kurumba NATO hata America na yaitereza na NATO bona bembetereza buri joba kugira ngo hati narabaho NATO nene kora drills ninka trainings no konjera mu bukodyo alliance yamahe kugira gakwatana bakora drills according to ebakureba takwenda Russia ebaguho chiyifi ebatere chiyifi batetegetekere mwene hati Putin wazire ngo America na NATO you're dreaming anyoti nyine bwire bwanyu tumuza kontwara bwire ati nyondi mu plan zaje zindi ninkore bindi imwe ngo mwe no mutina Russia ngo ne kubatera amahanganga higo nana mutina mutarasha konka yagira ngo imwe mukore bases zimukora zona muzukora hiya on Baltic Sea mutaho base munsemberere hi ijo bari muri yesunsuna America na NATO mukagira ngo mwatera nangwa na 1 square mile ya cyuweke cya Russia at NATO mwakwija kureba Russia okukiruba at kandi ngoko rwaba orutaro rwensi yona orwakashatu atawo kuba NATO mwegisire at kana ya Russia mutarija ngo ndinyenka imwe mwakwa mujana munta kutera Russia niza kubatera amahanga ngabatere orutaro rwensi yakashatu orazaho kandi murakireba imwe NATO mubikore Putin yakanga agargo makuru.
The Russian soldiers are pushing the Ukrainian forces back, while the country will now bolster its military by adding 2 new armies and 30 new formations by the end of this year.
Army Corps, Motorized Rifle Division, Dnipro River Flotilla and Brigade of Flotilla's riverboats have been formed. The plan is to form until the end of the year 2 combined arms armies and 30 units, including 14 divisions and 16 brigades. We will continue the improvement of combat composition and numerical strength of the Russian army, adequate to emerging threats for the country's security.
The announcement comes on the backdrop of NATO strengthening its eastern flank, fearing that Russia might invade its member states. The US-led military bloc is constructing its largest base in Europe in Romania, with Ukraine at the north, the Black Sea to the southeast, Serbia to the southwest, and Hungary to the west. Fears of Russian aggression have reached an all-time high. The $2.7 billion project plans to expand the Romanian Air Force 57th Air Base. It is located close to the Black Sea port city of Constanta. Once finished, the new base will have a perimeter of almost 20 miles and cover around 11 square miles. Moreover, early in the month, the US-led military alliance expanded its member states. Sweden formally joined the alliance, cementing the Nordic country's place as the 32nd member of the alliance. With Sweden becoming the newly enrolled member of NATO, its membership completes a strategic ring of NATO territory around the Baltic Sea. And along with Sweden, its neighbor Finland, in another historic move ending years of military non-alignment, joined the NATO alliance last year in April. With the expansion of the military alliance, NATO leaders have increasingly warned that Russia will eventually attack them. But the Russian president has dismissed them as complete nonsense. Although the Russian leader has warned the West of a potential World War III if NATO and Russia go to war.
Express show inakutangire mugenzi wanje ibintu bya Ukraine najati mwe mutansisa no bwire tingwa nakuvimba nyebyo munonga mwene mu Venezuela ni bemberwa umashira kweta Nicolas Maduro abire kibanda yaba tiyagira mutima gwaki yenda kuba dictator yenda kuba ki akaruru kihangere ngakwankatierwa omukwa mushanju mwene opposition nabo abo kugira ngo biyefuga bieri lya Nicolas Maduro naho bekoze no murumo nabagenda nabarabona ihanga ryona nibakora campaigns nibakora ki konko muri yebyo bono bahagira America kandi America yera against the government ya yo mwami Nicolas Maduro Venezuela mbwen bakimuka America yateka sanctions ayihangaria Venezuela zo byo kurwanisa teka sanctions zo byo bushobozi n'imbindi hati our opposition bahagira sanctions zezo mwene hati akaruruka giye kwika Nicolas Maduro hatunumanya mu nkwatire opposition leaders abo opposition leaders mbankwatire mbateko mu kihome nkandi shito abaturaki ate mishango ni nyingi mutafayo atego kubanza nemishango ya corruption ngo asha batari mu government koti ya jango batari mu government bo kandi corruption bata nguna bajango je mishango ya corruption bajine yo shomankuzi murondo kumurajihandike je nemishango yo shomankuzi bebe no shomankuzi nabafuna sente izo kufandinga political parties zabo kurgomu nseze takumanya mwene corruption nibembezo ringa mwene corruption na sente zo tukumagendero cyazo nkibasache cyo kuhamba government emishango nayo mu gitehejo mwendi ijos mwene cyo kusupportinga sanctions za America eziyatireho abonye mazahagira kandi ihanga ryabo ekimasango to kwendeza ihanga ryabo omuntu ari mu Uganda any foreign country yateke na tayi Uganda ekfereza at for example nka America ko yatuhire omuri AGOA hat AGOA ekene benefit injira Uganda yona as whole country America yat suspendinga korgo muri AGOA habwachi abonshonga yebusiyaga kwagira kukugira byaho hatumwe nayo ninkejo ninka Venezuela konka political nikitangaza kugira ngo batwingo muri AGOA kandi AGOA ebene yamba umuntu wabutosha omuhingi nanabona na trade unions eziku exportinga ebintu muri America AGOA ekibasa ngo muhingi wo hanse mu Uganda nanafuna mu omuri AGOA mwene America yagira ngo Uganda twabingo muri AGOA we expect you any politician and every politician kuba narumirwa umunya Uganda wabutosha konka wareba ene political party abo kugira ngo opposition ekareka yati yes America atamubinga Uganda ataramone mutajigarramu omuri AGOA ncyanti masango takwendeza abantu baturage ababutosha wanchenga hati nje cyabiro mu Venezuela kiye ba sanction injire Venezuela nkihanga iyo politician ahabonye naje sanctions kugira ngo umunya Venezuela agume naruma ezenshongezo hati nago muteho mushango ukwaje sanctions za America agango makuru kurgo mu Venezuela.
Security forces in Caracas carrying out arrests against 2 opposition members. Venezuela's Attorney General Tarek Saab confirmed the detentions on Wednesday, adding that more arrest warrants have been issued for Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado's inner circle.
The public ministry asked for 9 arrests. 2 of them have been carried out. The arrest of Henry Alvarez and Dignora Hernandez have been made effective.
Despite her landslide victory in a primary organized by the opposition last October, Machado remains banned by Venezuelan authorities from officially registering as a presidential candidate. Machado, who has been polling above President Nicolas Maduro, calls the arrest warrants against members of her staff a cowardly act by the government.
It appears the regime wants to close the road to democracy and peace. What the regime is doing is not a show of strength, it's a show of great weakness.
The arrest warrants against opposition members have cast new doubts over the upcoming presidential election scheduled for July. Venezuela's Supreme Court, which upheld the ban against Machado in January, accuses the opposition leader of corruption and supporting U.S. sanctions.
Express show nyina kutangira mu rungi mutayi wanje yabasa kutwegitaho agamajingo kubasa gomeza naho mwen ogu yes nagamba ko nabya WhatsApp yitu nagamba yesa ni Jordan bategana from kurugabe hendo akazo nyino ngambira Israel na India eri kukiza ibyo kurwanisa mwene eri kukiza ibyo kurwanisa hati ntakujerire hare India nekiza Israel ibyo kurwanisa nasinzira a global fire power formula pa 2024 kudamininga power index niba consideringa enshonga zukushikankaga comparinga amahanga abiri ngagarumu ebyo kurwa obwingi byo kurwanisa ngagarumu the financial standing omumbera ya sente oryota oyine byo kwingana ki mwene kare no basa supportinga military no basa supportinga ki ebyo baba gaka bareba na logistical capabilities zebyo kurwanisa na nebindi kureba ne babasa kuba nibatambuze kwingana ki nibatase kwingana ki birwaniso nibashoza ninga nibatasya nibakora ki ombunji bwabyo bakabara na geography ihanga ryawo kuryemerire na neryogu nihiriya kubasa kubargine eriya kubasa kubargine advantage yo kukira ntayi yayo kugira ngo okurumba na no kurumbibwa ukabasa ko defendinga kusinzira according to your geographical location mwemba considering enshonga nkaga babasa kudetermininga ihanga ero kukizayo ero kugendera power index hat for example na kugamba power index nka Israel India eri mchakana kandi Israel ne kwata 17 India ene power index ya 0.1416 Israel ene power index ya 0.2596 index power index yawe ekoma kuba erinche no hamana gawo kuba garminji yaguma na yongera amana gawo nikakoma guma nigachendera mwene India atano munana nchariyo thanks for eclipse ebintu bya eclipse ebi ogunjasa sikogo muri kikube eclipse nyomba zentezo nengambo nkabantu ebero bishatu ndoha izedi omushikatwa nyina kubagambira ebero kumuri koko akana mwareba eclipse yamaremya emye ebero bishatu bagamba byona mu mbinga Sky Express show nengambo zabo burijo na butosha eclipse obwira kabiri butura bubaho no bubaho munsi yona konko bokujana no kumara ebero bishatu murujo mu ngambo ebe nebindi aboshonga yakire ogunagira ati ninye tuine Julius omuruberizi webera munabanye kwa no simo buhereza ndi izedi omushikato oguyanyeta Netanyahu I'm not Netanyahu ndi izedi omushikatwa karange gambirine wenyini hekikora taho na lunch time request show kubana baterra muziki mpaka budeboke jenge obusinje bwa marema makarema bugumenimu